Welcome. This is Scorecard on Citi TV. My name is Fentio Tahiru Fentio. The show is live and interactive on social media. Do get in touch with us as we review all of the weekend sporting action, starting from football here at home. Kotoko getting a valuable point at Kerala in the Ghana Premier League. Wafa pipping Great Olympics last-minute penalty. R2U dispatching Ashanti Gold and all that. Hearts of Oak were involved in the CAF Confederation Cup qualifying round. They got a 2-0 victory against JS Saoura of Algeria. We'll show you highlights of that match. It's a game that probably should have won by more goals in England. Liverpool dispatched, of course, Southampton. Arsenal eased past Newcastle. Chelsea and Man United ended in a stalemate at Stamford Bridge. Man City got victory in the blizzard. Some other games, of course, snowed off. Tottenham Hotspur at Burnley at Turf Moor didn't happen as a result of that. We take you to Spain, Barcelona. They left it late to secure victory at Villarreal. Also in Italy, shocking defeats for both Juventus and AC Milan. And in the Bundesliga, it was all Erling Haaland who set some incredible record there in that victory against Wolfsburg. We'll play back that match for you. We have boxing for you as well. And we have a new unified lightweight champion of the world. His name, George Kambosos. He shocked everybody and Teofimo Lopez to be crowned the new unified champion in the lightweight division. This completely opens the door for Richard Comey to get a shot at that title. He has to beat Lomachenko on December 11th by all means necessary. Let me hear from you what you make of all of the weekend's action. The phone number, you can send your WhatsApp numbers to +233 550 585 832. See the number on your screen. Also, my preferred way of hearing from you, of course, is on Twitter. Do leave me a message there with the hashtag Scorecard. I'll read that for you as and when the show goes on. This is Scorecard on Citi TV. We'll take a very short break. When we come back, I'll introduce my guests, and then we can start showing you some highlights. All right, welcome back. Scorecard. Good to be on your screens again. I haven't been on this show in the past 2 weeks, I believe. It's quite a long time. But I've got my guests here. My usual two musketeers, Christopher Nimley and Daniel Cranting. Coach, in all yellow, how are you today? How are you feeling?
This is gold. This is not yellow. What is wrong with
What's the difference between gold and yellow?
There are two different colors.
Explain to me.
You see, if you are a science person, you understand.
Isn't yellow a color and gold a mineral?
Oh, Maza.
Oh, Master say. But it's true. Gold is a natural resource. Yellow is a color.
But you see, you want to create problem for yourself. At least today, you made me happy.
Oh,
I got the chance to speak to his Natalia. Oh no! Hey. Oh, I trust you. No wonder you've been listening to my advice.
It's possible you have been misled, though.
No, you can't. Are you denying the lady? Is that what you are telling me? I'm shocked. Is that what you are telling me?
Can we move on?
I know you are watching the show. You are listening, isn't it? But I trust you now. No wonder you are. You see, when you are under proper tutelage, you do things correctly. I have guided you. Because, look, Kranti, what I saw.
Oh, man.
Oh, God, goodness.
Oh, goodness.
Highly conspicuous. Very clear. The BFF index, the body, face, and form, absolutely brilliant. My brother,
how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, goodness me. Daniel, how are you?
I'm good.
Today you came in an Arsenal jersey.
Yeah.
The Arsenal fans will love that. Yeah.
That's Natalia's team.
Because I have a feeling that right now...
You hear what he said?
Yes. So what?
He
That's
said
Natalia.
that Natalia's team.
Ah, I see. You know what I know? Right now, Daniel Cranting is Arsenal fans' easiest target.
Yes.
It's the easiest
So
target.
he
Now, every
wants to
time he
appease
tweets
them.
anything,
They come after him. They come after him.
They come after him. I saw one of his responses. He said, you people are the best team in England. It's okay.
If they don't finish 8th, as it stands, his Man United is 8th. They are what? 5th, eh?
Yes, they are 5th. And the people have bookmarked that video. They have bookmarked that video. Hey, if they don't finish above us now, he'll be the most strong person. All right, anyway, guys, let's move it on. We'll begin from the Ghana Premier League, as we like to do as usual. And this time we'll begin at Sogakope. That was where Great Olympics on Saturday visited Sogakope Wafa, West Africa Football Club. It was a very interesting game of football, but it took a last-minute penalty from Justice Chachute to give Wafa all 3 points. All right, so they called it the Abalora show, if you like. But let me show you the full results from the Ghana Premier League after the run of results. Okay, so there you go. Legon Cities, they lost at home by 1-0. Incredible goal, really, from Yaya Mohammed. You should see that goal. I'm very, very... too bad we don't have that, because it was a fabulous strike from Yaya Mohammed, a free kick to give Diana Stars all 3 points. Wafa beating Great Olympics 1-0. You see there. Bechem United beating Dreams FC by 3-1. And this is interesting. Dreams FC last weekend, they gave away a 3-goal lead. In this match, they gave away a 1-goal lead. They took the lead as early as the 5th minute, and somehow Bechem United came back, scored 3 goals, and then won the game 3-1. The Karela result there as well. 11 Wonders also beat Elmina Sharks 3-1. King Faisal and Midiama ended 0-0. Gold Stars, they beat Accra Lions, the battle of the newly promoted teams, 2-0. And RTU, they recovered from that shocking defeat last weekend to win 2-0 against Ashanti. If the secret to Ashgo surviving is win every game in Tamale, because traveling, they might not find a lot of luck. Namely, I don't know which game you want to pick from, but very interesting results from the Ghana Premier League.
I think clearly I want to look at the Accra Great Olympics Wafa game. I think I watched that game. And to be honest with you, Wafa dominated the game.
Right.
I think they should have won the game before the penalty. But having said that, the manner in which that penalty was conceded, I think the Accra Great Olympics player should be taken to the boardroom or should be taken to the classroom and he should be taught proper defending. You see, at this level, defenders are constantly being told that when the ball goes to the byline, just before the cross is put in, you're supposed to turn and watch.
Exactly.
And if you go back to the goal, he behaved as if he didn't know what was behind him at all.
Yeah.
And that is not acceptable. The level of awareness as a defender is such that whenever the ball goes to the byline and it is that obvious that the cross is going to be put in, it is clear that it isn't the man crossing the ball who is going to put the ball in the back of the net. It is the player, all those players that are coming to attack the cross, they are the most dangerous players. So clearly, the fullback of Accra Great Olympics showed a high degree of unawareness, and I'm happy they got punished. In the Kumasi Asante Kotoko game, Razak Abaloa, I think he started the season very, very well. Kotoko before that game had gone 4 games, won all 4.
Yep.
But even that, if you look at Razak's performance in all of the 4 games that Kotoko has won, there were times or there were games where he clearly gave them the 3 points.
Yes.
And at this level, if you've got a goalkeeper, let me cut them like Mendy, like David De Gea, like Razak Abaloa for that matter in the local scene. Keepers are supposed to guarantee you points. Me, if I'm coaching a team, I expect to get 7 points from my goalkeeper. Somebody will ask me, but coach, how are you going to get that?
Yeah.
That is what Razak did today, isn't it? He's given Kotoko 1 point today.
He did.
There will be
Great
games
saves.
where Kotoko will take the lead, a very slim lead, and he will come out with that magical save.
Yeah.
In that case,
He's
you
won 3
refer to
points.
it that he's giving the team what? 3 points. So if
has.
a goalkeeper out of 34 games can give the team 7 points, then you stand every chance of winning the league. And I think that is what Razak Abalowa stands for. The Kotoko again will have to look at the way they've defended. Yes, they've won 4 out of 4 until now. This is their first drawn game. Yeah. But if you look at the manner in which they got exposed, stretched, I think the red card was given because the referee thought he was the last man.
Yeah.
Because, once he's the last, because if the player had gone past him, it would have been an easy pull-out and an easy tap-in.
Yeah.
So I agree 100% with the referee. But if you are the coach of Kotoko, you should be looking at the way this team has been defending of late. The manner in which they've gone flat. I think it's not only about Kotoko. It is becoming the norm. I'm beginning to see that often with our teams. Look at the Hasselhoff game against Ashcote last week.
Yeah.
The goals Hasselhoff conceded, very similar. And I can pinpoint Legon City, for example, the foul that led to
the free kick from Yahya Mohammed.
A similar thing. They were so flat, a simple through ball, and it opens them up. You have to foul. But look, let me just comment on that free kick. It hurts that we are not going to get a chance.
I know.
Max Okonedu knew the moment the free kick was conceded, he did this.
His head was in his hands.
Yes, because if you present that to Yahya Mohammed, look, I can bet my last peswa. For anybody who hasn't seen that, go and look at it again. No goalkeeper in the world is going to stop that. Grant, have you seen the goal?
Goodness. And that is how he plays all his free kicks. Yes. He just goes back.
Oh my goodness.
Runs in with power.
Look, if you are the opposing player and you are standing in the wall, you only make the attempt to block it if you don't know him. But if you know him, and you know him, you just inside the net. I'm telling you, because I wouldn't attempt to block that. Because look, if that ball were to hit any part of your body, your head, your tummy, or your balls, you carry it to Kolibu. Who carry it to Kolibu? Straight. Who take it to Kolibu? He brought the thing today. I said, your head, your stomach, or then I mentioned, then you are laughing. You don't do that.
All right, guys, Kranti, a quick take on the Ghana Premier League games.
Just to quickly add to what Coach was talking about in terms of the Olympics and WAFA game.
Yeah.
This is the second time Olympics are giving away such a cheap penalty. If you remember, a match they won against RTU, they were done and dry. It was a 1-0 lead. Last minute, silly tackle in the box. And it's happened again. And you see, it's a similar thing that has happened. The loss of concentration, the lack of awareness that there's an opposition player just around there, just that composure to allow him. Because frankly speaking, if the WAFA player had taken the ball, there's no guarantee he was going to even get a shot at goal. You had another attempt or another opportunity to put your body on the line and block the ball. So it's just yet another cheap giveaway, and you could see really the frustration preventable. You could see the frustration on Arnold Walker's face. It shouldn't have happened, but for Kotoko, look, their fans will take this as a huge positive result. These are the sort of games where they are supposed to lose. Any other team would lose. You are being dominated in a sense. You get reduced to a man down, chance after chance after chance, and you still manage to escape with a point. We saw it in match day 1 against Dreams FC. Dreams took the lead. Last 8 minutes, Kotoko scored 3 goals. These sort of games are games where you expect Kotoko to be dropping points, but they are winning them, and they are also winning the games they are supposed to win.
Yeah.
And I always say these are traits of a championship team. I said this in relation to the Chelsea Brentford a couple of weeks ago. There are times where you need your goalkeeper to come out and save you. It's not going to happen week in, week out for a top team. But when you need your goalkeeper to come out and save you, most of the time, the top teams and the top goalkeepers come out and they do their job. And for Abalora, he was absolutely brilliant in that game against Karela. Although I also pinned some of the saves down to poor finishing. Some of them, the forwards should have got it or should have done better with the opportunities. But of course, Kotoko have escaped with the point. I think it's 13 from their opening 5 games.
Yeah,
that's
15.
That's just 2 points dropped.
The penalty decision you were talking about.
It's a clear penalty. No,
as the ball comes in, he's not looking.
He has his eye on the ball, but clearly he doesn't know what is happening on the other side, and that is
the error should have been or the correct thing should have been just before the cross is taken.
Yeah.
You should have given it a look, a side look, because you are in blue, he's in white. Normally, you don't need to do that 180-10 completely. Oh, you just do this, and your eye will, you feel the color. You see the color of the opponent, and then it clearly tells you, look at him, look, he's not watching, he's not, oh, come on, man. What is that?
And, for, what do you call it, for a team that's been beneficial of a lot of penalties so far this season, they should know better. Of course, in their game against Dreams FC, they were awarded
two penalties.
In their comeback draw in that game.
Drawn against Dreams
because
FC.
they went 3 goals down.
But, friend, quick on Dreams FC. Look, what is wrong, man? You cannot be conceding 3-3-3.
That's 6 goals.
That's
3-1-3, 3-2-6, 3-3.
No, in their last 2 games,
opening day they considered 3 against Kotoko. Match day 4 and 5 they considered 3. So that's about 9 goals in 3.
Oh, that's bad, man. All right, let's show you. But like I said, Kotoko is still top of the table. Of course, as Daniel mentioned, 13 points. They've only dropped 2 points from their opening 5 games. King Faisal very well in there. They've not lost the game yet, have they? Okay, they lost last weekend. The only game they've lost so far this season. King Faisal, so great start to the season for them. Let me show you that Hearts of Oak, they were involved in the CAF Confederation Cup first leg playoff match against JS Saoura from Algeria. If Hearts of Oak win this tie over 2 legs, they will get to the group stages of the CAF Confed Cup. They hosted the Algerians in the first leg. In a game many believe they should have won much more comfortably, but in the end, it was a 2-0 victory. Take a look. All right, so 2-0. It's a game many believe Hearts of Oak should have won much more comfortably. Nick, Chris, you and I were watching that game together. You were very animated, sure. Hearts played really well. Much better than they've played in any game at all this season.
That is why they should have scored a minimum of 4 goals. What is so sad was that the chances
came begging.
I mean, they were there. And for me, I pity the manager because, yes, Hearts of Oak have won 2-0, but it is looking like
the challenge is not enough.
It's not enough. That is something to now the manager will have to now begin to get them to believe that with the quality they've got, they should be able to go to Algeria
and dominate as well
because they have a 2-goal lead. I'm not going to sit here and accept Hearts of Oak go to Algeria and throw away a 2-goal lead. I'm not going to accept that. But having said that, look, we watched the game together. There were certain basic things that were not done right. And I'm going to start from the captain of the team. And if my good friend Samogwedu is listening and watching this show, he better sit the young man down and begin to put some tactical and technical sense into his game. Now, this is what he kept doing, which I completely disagree with. Whenever the ball is given to him in space, there's no... I'm talking about Fatal, the Hearts of Oak captain.
Yes.
On the right flank, you could see acres of space in front of him. Instead of him to travel with the ball and fill the space before trying to put the cross in. You see, defenders don't like defending crosses that puts the ball in between they and their post.
Right.
So if I'm a defender and the ball is here and this is my goal post, I don't like defending like that. But if you cross the ball
from deep,
diagonally from deep, every defender will deal with that.
Yeah.
You can afford to do that when you are chasing the game and you don't have enough time to build from the back or to transit with the ball, and you've got more men up front and you want them to battle, hoping that something will break loose and somebody will put the ball in. There's time for that. Or there are times where we do that as a game plan. But in today's game, Fentu, I was watching a game with you. Yeah. I was absolutely furious. On countless occasions, the young man, instead of filling the gap, traveling with the ball, received the ball, and just stood where he took the ball, then bam, he did that. I was asking myself, is the coach not watching? It's somebody not watching. So on one occasion, I saw Salifu. Is it Salifu, the boy that we bought from, Hearts of Oak bought from?
Tachima?
No, from New Dubiase.
Oh, Salim.
Adam. I saw Salim telling him that, look, when I give the ball, progress. You need to progress with the ball. Because at this level, if you see a gap in front of you and you cannot progress, then that is problematic. Point number 2, Hasselhoff will have to be very careful in that Algeria game, the way they defend set pieces,
Right.
especially crosses into the box. There were 3 moments where they were saved by the last defender. If he had missed the ball, there were 3 Algerian players
Unmarked.
just waiting for him to miss, and they would have headed the ball in the back. And I was asking myself, and for this, I'm very sure Samabwedu, he's done the working on the grounds. It is the individual players, the likes of the
Wow, Hassan.
Moalassa and Co. There has to be a leader in there.
Saoura.
Taxing people, giving people responsibility. This is your man, this is your man. If you don't want to go man marking, if it is a zonal marking, make sure you cover the zones.
Yeah.
So that whoever steps into the zone, or whoever you see coming into the zone, either you are attacking the ball, you are blocking him off. But from what I saw today, if they take that to Algeria,
Minimum.
the 2 goals will be cancelled in the first 15 minutes. And then they will be there for the taking. Please, Samabwedu, I know you are watching. If you are not watching, the likes of Opari, somebody is watching.
Yes.
They should tell him that Coach Nimley says on Scorecard program that he should watch the way Hasselhoff defend their set pieces. Because look, they've not started the season well. This is going to be a morale booster.
It will be.
If they can
make
really
it.
make it to the group stage of the Comfort Cup, it's going to be a morale booster.
agree,
It can
I
only
agree.
transform their entire season
Yeah.
and begin to put a challenge, because there's the sweetness of the group, what it brings on board in terms of finances, in terms of
The economic
marketability
activity,
for
yeah.
these players and all
Yeah,
that. At the end of the day, Hasselhoff may not only benefit from qualifying, but the players that they could market out there will be huge, and it can go a long way to change the fortunes of the team.
I agreed. Daniel, anything else you want to add?
Yeah, we are here again. It happened against Wydad, where Hart should have scored more. And it's not should have because we wanted them to score more. Should have because by what we saw in the game, evidence of the chances they created, clear-cut opportunities, they should have had more goals. But the fact is that they didn't. So now it's how would you approach that second leg in Algeria? And I'm saying again, look, I still maintain it was a mistake in Wydad, thinking you were on the same level with them, trying to match them. Don't do that. Already this team is short in confidence. This is their first win since September.
Yeah.
And we are almost entering December. They've not won a single domestic
Not once
game
since the first leg.
against Kamsa.
Yeah.
Of course,
No,
in
no,
the
no,
first leg
against-
against Wydad.
Yes,
And you
Wydad.
see, it doesn't help when a team is this low in confidence going into a ground like that. Saoura at home are very difficult to break down. We've seen the numbers at home in the Algerian league. They are very, very difficult to break down. Invite them. They need to score. Now they know they need to score too. The longer the game goes and the more frustrated they get, the more desperate they get. And this is it's a simple football fact. They are going to open up as time goes on. If you go and you try and play football with them and they get 1 goal in the opening 15 minutes, your game plan is done.
That's true.
It's done because in the back of your mind, now you need to score that away goal, which will require them to
pushing
score
you.
2 more. And the more you also go offensive, the easier it is for them to penetrate you defensively. So I still maintain, go with a very compact setup. Make it as difficult as it is for the Algerians to score. And coach is saying it. One easy way, which we saw in the Wydad game. First goal was a set piece. I think the third goal was a free kick. You don't want to give.
It's got 2 free kicks.
Look, you don't want to give teams easy opportunities like that to score you. You have to cover all the bases, especially defensively. Defensive set pieces, in terms of corners, free kicks, make it very difficult for them to break you down. Because fact is, if Hearts can go into the break in that game with the score as goalless, I think they will qualify. They will qualify.
Interesting. All right, so all the best to Hearts of Food. The return leg is in a week's time, so there's not really any time at all. So we'll see what comes out of that. But if they can get past JS Saoura, that would mean group stages of the CAF Comfort Cup. The last time any Ghanaian team was there, you have to go back to 2019 when Kotoko were in the group stages of that competition. Citi Akono as their head coach. Of course, they didn't make it out of their group, but they were in the group stages. All right. You're watching Scorecard on Citi TV. We'll take a short break. When we return from the break, we'll take you to England and show you some exciting highlights. It's been snowing all around England. The Premier League matches, you get some of them didn't even happen because of the pure heavy nature of the snow. Don't go anywhere. I've got your messages as well here on the show. All right, watching Scorecard on Citi TV. My name is Fentio Tahiru Fentio. Christopher Nimley and Daniel Cranting are my guests. Going by the first half hour of the show, we spoke about Ghana Premier League matches and, of course, Hearts of Oak's CAF Confed Cup campaign. I've got some of your messages here. Let me read some of them before we proceed with this show. This one is from Nick Nakat. The thing is that when you have certain messages, certain names on Twitter, and you send messages, if you know that your Twitter handle name is some way, please add your actual name. It's so much better, because some of you have all kinds of names on Twitter. They're not even friendly for TV. So if you have such a name and you send your message, just kindly add your name to the last part of the message if you want it to be read, so that we can share it with the rest of our viewers. But this one is tweeting as the hashtag "Don't spoil the brand." How would I know who this is? And it says, judging from Carrick's performance, it's clear that Man United's problems were due to coaching. No Maguire and Varane, but look at the defending on point. That's an interesting point he's raising. Prosper Akuteye says, Fent, did you take a critical look at some of Man U's technical team members? They were with earpiece in their ears, taking instructions from Ralph Rangnick. Matches like this are like that. We must accept the point in good faith and come back strong in midweek. The only one I saw with earpiece was Fletcher. And Daniel Cranton said Fletcher was doing what?
He was listening to music.
He said he was listening to music. We talked about that when we were watching the game. But Daniel said, no, he was listening to music. Interesting. Lamar T. Kojo. He says, obviously, we Chelsea fans are disappointed by this result, but the fact that United fans are celebrating this draw shows clearly how both teams have set their bars. Man United have set the bar so low, shameless, but they've got a draw at Stamford Bridge. That's worth celebrating. I'm not sure.
He's an example of a supporter in pain. Yeah. He's just maybe Skanashi.
KD Jr. says, making my Sunday evening, as always, big ups to United for giving Chelsea a dose of their own medicine. All right. Kofi JC says, as a Chelsea fan, it was a disappointing result, but the Man United fans will love it. Also watching Danny K on the show with an Arsenal jersey is a bit conflicted due to his strong views on Arteta's side in the past. Yes, we've addressed that issue at the beginning of the show. Bugabat says, in fact, Ole was stubborn. He never gave audience to Carrick and the other assistants. All right. Hassan, Pakash Hassan, he says, I pray House of Oak do not regret the many missed chances today. They could have won by 3 or 4 goals. Let's hope for the better in the second leg. All right. Rolex Famous, he says, Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea and Arsenal will finish as top 4 in the EPL. House of Oak should work on their clinical finishing in front of goal. All right, interesting. Prof Husband Material. Wafaki says, my Sunday evenings are always awesome with Scorecard. I love the vibes, he says. All right. Tatanko said, it was a magical challenge at Stamford Bridge. Man United did the magic. They did well. But Michael Carrick intentionally dropped Cristiano Ronaldo for reasons best known to him. He could have executed the very last chance. All right. Zimbo Selassie says, I thought football fields is supposed to be green. Why is some part of the Karela pitch white? And they were playing with a white ball. It's not attractive to watch at all. It was something that we actually talked about off air. You know, the Karela pitch, it's not very good for TV visuals. I'm not sure what's wrong.
I'm not sure that
I think it's
white.
The paint.
It's not white. It is a bit deep and light green.
Yeah,
it's very
so
light.
It's
very
some
light
way.
green.
I
Color
don't know.
balance is all
Yeah, like when you're watching it cry, it's not good for your eyes.
Yeah.
It's very piercing. I'm not sure what's going on there,
Maybe
but
they
I'm sure the
change
managers
the
will do
colour of
something
the
about
ball.
it. Yeah,
Maybe a yellow ball.
kind of, exactly. So I'm sure the Karela bosses have noticed themselves and they will do something about that. David Amachi Bonsi says, it's always a delight to see Coach Christopher and Daniel Crouting on our screens. What about me? Sorry, let's go on. Roland Gambero says, hi friends, United fans are happy Ole is gone, but I've forgotten Maguire and Fred are still in the team and they are more of a pandemic to United than COVID-19. Interesting. Two brown eye. He says, Man U got a point after playing against our Team B and they think they are anywhere near the EPL trophy. They should be lucky we didn't use our strong starting 11. Alonso and Ziyech messed us up big time, but still, we are on top and we go again. Blue is the colour. All right, let's do some Premier League highlights. First off, we'll take you to the Emirates Stadium. That was where Arsenal hosted Newcastle United. Newcastle, the worst team in the Premier League, if you like, or one of the worst teams in the Premier League. Arsenal basically used them for a training session and won by 2-0. All right, so there you have it. Arsenal winning easily, really, against Newcastle by 2-0. Daniel, I mean, that's your second favourite team. That was quite impressive.
Yeah, you have to beat what is in front of you. And after what happened last week against Liverpool, Arsenal needed a reaction. And I think they got it. It was a superb display, especially that second half. After dominating in the first half, not being able to break Newcastle down. By no fault of the manager, this time I'll admit that. It was just poor finishing from Aubameyang, Saka in the first half. And then the second half to show that resolve. And Saka had a very good game yesterday. Showed some mental toughness, his desire to keep on going. I also single out Tavares, who I thought was fantastic. He was a complete nuisance for Newcastle.
Not Tim Sherwood, but Tim Sherwood.
Look, he was everywhere. And look, he's one of those players
that... defender, that guy.
Yes, he's a left back.
No, but I think he's actually going to cost them in the future. Because
look, I feel
he
that... He
always forgets he's a defender.
At times, but I feel, look, he's a sort of player that with right coaching, he can easily be world class. He has the tools to be an absolutely brilliant player. But you see, and I have to address this, I don't have a problem with Arsenal. No. I love football. And the Arsenal I know is an Arsenal that competes for the league title every season. It's an Arsenal that wins trophies. It's an Arsenal that a time ago went unbeaten in the Premier League season. That's the standard of Arsenal. Okay? I don't have a problem with... The person I have a problem with is their choice of manager. And it's not a personal problem. It's because if you're an Arsenal fan and you look at your team and your manager, and you look at Chelsea with Tuchel, you look at Man City with Pep, you look at Liverpool with Klopp, you look at even Tottenham Hotspur, who now have Antonio Conte.
Man United now bringing on
Ragnick. And you genuinely feel that you can genuinely feel like you can compete for the league title, then that's fine. Then I'll keep quiet.
Okay.
But if you feel that you can win and win and win and win, when you meet Man City, you take 5-0. When you meet Chelsea, you take 2-0. When you meet Liverpool, you take 4-0. But when you meet Newcastle and Norwich, you are winning. That's not Arsenal. Even if you lose against Man City and Chelsea and Liverpool, you need to compete. You need to show some signs of competition. Some signs that when the season is over and you are buying new players for next season, you are preparing towards next season, you can look back at those matches against the big teams and say, with this addition and this addition and this addition, we can compete and probably get a win against them.
That's it.
You can't go into a game against Man City, lose 5. Then the following week you are beating somebody and saying, you see, we are in the right. You are not in the right direction.
Yeah.
Because if you accept it, you see, I always say acceptance is that's the first step of failure. If you are a big team and you accept that you are going to compete for a top 6 or a top 4, that's wrong. Personally, I don't subscribe to that. And I know the true Arsenal fans want their team to get back to competing for the league title. And there are some steps you can take to quicken the process.
Yeah.
You get me? There are steps you can easily take to quicken the process.
So for you,
Arteta is a learning manager. Okay, I have no problem. He has shown some great progress. But my point is, are you going to wait for Arteta to reach the level of Pep before you start competing?
Surely they are not winning.
Or you can quicken the process by getting somebody who can
because and you see and you see the point Daniel is making, and I made this point on Twitter, and people thought I was just hating. But the truth of the matter is that if you look at the run, the winning run that Arsenal had been on, it was more to do with favourable opponents than actual quality of Arsenal's football. You look at the teams they beat in that particular run, like Watford, Aston Villa. These teams were at a horrible place. Leicester, Norwich, all of them were in there. And they were all beating at Tottenham Hotspur at times when these teams were in shambles. Because at the time they beat Leicester, everybody was beating Leicester. When they beat Aston Villa, everybody was beating Aston Villa before Villa sacked their coach. Burnley. So you look at the quality of the teams that they beat, and you even look at the details of the match. If you watch those games, and the Spurs match, for example, the Spurs were terrible. So there is that. But you cannot go on and this is the point, you can't go on that sort of run, and then the moment you come up against Liverpool, you don't even compete. You just give up and just lose by 4 goals to 0. That is unacceptable.
That is not Arsenal. That is not Arsenal. And
that's the point.
That is something I will never accept. I will never accept it. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. If you are going to lose, or if you are going to Anfield to go and lose, and you see, I don't care. My point is, I don't care if Arsenal finish above United. If we both don't compete for the title, then what are we doing? It's not a competition between two teams that, I finish above you. So you finish above me, where are you taking the points to? You are not winning anything. Yeah. You are not doing anything with the wins you want to win and compete for trophies. That is Arsenal. That's Manchester United. So you have to strive for that success, not being satisfied with beating somebody 4-0 and finishing in top 5 and finishing above Man U and you score Man. You score Man U, so you are taking the 3 points to win. Are you going to win the league? No.
Yeah, so clearly Daniel's point isn't about the fact that Arsenal are not capable of winning, or he just feels that with Arteta in charge, they're not going to win the Premier League, and Arsenal should be competing for the Premier League title. I don't know if you have a different opinion, but whatever your opinion is, I'm really interested. Can Arsenal genuinely become title contenders under Mikel Arteta? Is he a manager that can take them to the next level, to the Champions League? Winning a Champions League, winning the Premier League. Coach, don't laugh, please.
Do you want me to tell you when?
No.
You want me to tell you when they win the league? And
wait, please, you're not a prophet.
28 years from now.
All right. Let's take it to Anfield, a team that definitely knows how to win, a manager that's built a reputation for bringing glory to the Reds. In 30 years, they had not won the Premier League title. This man delivered the title, Jurgen Klopp. Liverpool were in action against their feeder club. Sorry. Southampton, they absolutely pummeled them 4-0. All right. Thiago, 2-2, red hot form for him. Those 2 matches were on Saturday. On Sunday, it was a very snowy environment. Snowy weather in England. Lots of matches were played under the snow, especially this one at the Etihad, where Man City took on West Ham and beat them by 2-1. All right, there you go. Oh, goodness me. Namely, talk me through this one. The blizzard in the first half, basically a tapping. You can barely see the ball, but they got it anyway. Riyad Mahrez into lots of bodies, finished there.
Look, it is not easy playing under such conditions, without a doubt. The snow,
can you even see the ball?
It's a bit hard. The snow slapping your face, left, right, center. The pitch is that heavy. The ball not moving at the pace that you want it to move.
Yeah.
Everything about it has to change. And for me...
And the groundsmen did so well to clear the pitch at halftime. This was the second half.
Goodness me. But look, Man City, they are that good, Fentio.
Yeah.
Even under such a very difficult condition, they still had the belief that they could pass the ball through the condition. Pass West Ham into
departed
submission.
From their philosophy.
No, not at all. That is what they have been told to do. You have to do that if you want to play under Pep Guardiola. And the manner in West Ham, yes, credit to them. Defensively, they stayed in the game for a very, very long time. The assurance goal from Man City came very late. So if you are a David Moyes, that is where you pick up a positive. That anytime your team finds themselves in such situation, what else can you do to eventually get back into the game? Because at 1-0, everything very tight. West Ham just didn't look like creating something in the attacking sense.
Yeah.
And Man City kept coming. Definitely, you are going to crumble. When these guys are moving the ball, the Bernardo Silva, the Riyad Mahrez, all of them.
Let me
comment on that young man. I think Pep Guardiola has made him a completely different player.
From last season to this season,
From last
he's
season
been
to this
brilliant.
season, all of a sudden, the absence of a proper striker, this is where you see when the player is properly coached. Pep Guardiola has turned this young man into a box-to-box sort of
I think last season
midfielder.
he was their second top scorer.
Yeah. And it's like he's given him a goal-scoring responsibility.
Yeah.
And whenever the move starts, you can clearly see him moving into the box just to be on the end of the move. And I think that is proper coaching. And the Mahrez, the Bernardo Silva, the Kevin De Bruyne, the Raheem Sterling, they all look up to him. No wonder he's been chosen to be the next captain of the team.
Yep.
As it stands, Fernandinho is the captain, but he cannot get into the team now. So he has the ban in the presence of Kevin De Bruyne, who was given some chance to wear the armband, but he clearly didn't show proper leadership quality on the pitch. But in Ike Gundogan, I think he's done something that every manager will look up to and say, look, if this guy is in my team from open play, usually on the blind side of the opposing defenders, he's got what it takes to nick it.
Yeah.
He's got what it takes to nick it. And I think credit must be given to Pep Guardiola in that respect.
Interesting. Let's take you to Stamford Bridge. This is usually one of the most anticipated games in the Premier League season. Chelsea against Man United. In fact, in England, perhaps the biggest game on that Premier League calendar is Liverpool against Man United. But if you come to Ghana, the biggest game in the Premier League is definitely Chelsea against Man United. Michael Carrick came up with some very interesting lineup in this particular game. 3 holding midfielders. Daniel, let me begin with you. Talk through this game. I mean, the first half, Chelsea absolutely dominated as Man United sat back and tried as much as possible to keep it tight. Chelsea were wasteful. Callum Hudson-Odoi guilty of squandering some good opportunities there. But, I mean, what did you make of the entire approach in itself? This was the first half performance. Chelsea kept coming. Then the second half, of course, that was when United scored first. Jorginho, under no pressure, gives away the ball, and Jadon Sancho picks it up, confident finish, cool as you like.
Yeah, look, first of all, I have to admit that Man United escaped with a point.
Yeah.
Point number 2.
What was Jorginho doing there? That's point number 2.
Look, I'll get to that. But look, if I was a manager in modern day football, I will not be selecting Marcus Rashford. And I'll stand by the point. There are 1,001 players who have his qualities, but they do extra things to make them exceptional.
Yeah.
He doesn't. And I think he's a serious defensive liability to this Manchester United team. Especially
Just before you go on, look, this is the second goal of the game. This was the penalty awarded Chelsea.
Clear penalty.
Wan-Bissaka kicking Thiago. Jorginho gave away the ball for the first goal, the United goal. Steps up, skip, hop, skip. No chance for the hair. 1-1. And then this gift from Mendy to Fred. Fred is gone. And he just gives it straight back to Mendy. Nimli was furious.
Did you see Ronaldo's reaction?
Yeah.
He says, what am I doing?
And then Chelsea had a last-minute chance. Oh, boom. Your good friend.
Oh, Rudiger.
Rudiger kicked it over. But you were talking about Marcus Rashford.
Yeah, defensively he's a serious liability, especially in a game like this where we knew that per Chelsea's system they would expose the wide areas, they would dominate those areas and try and exploit Manchester United. And any decent footballer who had been given instructions and cared about his team will at least try to do something defensively. He was literally a passenger. He was walking. You would see Bruno have to enter his space and do his pressing for him or his defending for him. Reece James will have acres of space. It's 2-on-1 against between Reece James and Hakim Ziyech against Wan-Bissaka, against Telles, and Rashford will not care. He's just watching. He doesn't care at all because he's a doctor and he's the best player in the world. And he's waiting for the ball to be fed to him. If the ball is hit into space and he feels he doesn't want to run for it, then he stops and he continues walking. And that's what shocked me when Carrick had an opportunity to make a substitution. And he opted to take out Jadon Sancho, who wasn't just offensively United's best player on the day, but even from a defensive point of view, in terms of the offensive players, he was also the best player He wasn't showing any signs of fatigue, nothing at all. And then he withdrew him. And that's when the goal came. Because that's when it allowed Chelsea to continue to invite pressure, whipping those crosses.
I told you.
Yes, eventually they got their goal. But look, there was a time we had an argument on this very show of how much Chelsea will miss Lukaku when he's not around. This is a prime example. They
won't miss him in every game.
Look, of course.
In fact, they won't miss him in probably 90% of the games.
Yes. But
like
in
they
games,
haven't since he got injured.
In games like this,
but the profile of matches,
you need your top strikers to be fit. You need them.
This game was begging for Lukaku, to be honest.
Chelsea did everything, but they lacked the finisher. And it just took me 12 months back to last season. This is exactly what was happening. In games where Chelsea were dropping points, you look at Tuchel's first game against Wolves, I think when Chelsea faced Aston Villa, chances, and there was nobody just to put the ball in the back of the net. And there was Lukaku, clearly unfit, of course. This is when you need your top striker fit and ready. But for Manchester United, I think this is the second game under Carrick where they've escaped defeat against Villarreal. And look, against Villarreal was David De Gea. Half-time should have been 3-0 to the Villarreal. But of course, when you have quality players on the pitch and you don't take your chances, they will come back and punish you. Yeah. And today, again, Chelsea were undone because, of course, they should have taken their opportunities. They didn't take it. Last point, Chelsea have this knack of defending set pieces and leaving just one man behind. That is their defensive midfielder. And I don't know, clearly this is two different managers that but it's something that worries me a lot. Today it was just Jorginho, who was always the last man in the hole, and there was so much space in front of him, nobody giving him cover. So anytime the ball was hitting, United, or if United were, of course, being offensive, they just needed to press two men forward. We saw what happened in the goal. Mistake from Jorginho, and it was taken advantage of. I think it was 2 seasons ago when Martinelli scored against Chelsea. The same thing happened. It was a corner for Chelsea. It was hit long. Kante slipped on the ball, and Martinelli took it off him and went. It worries me because, first of all, the person you are leaving behind doesn't have enough pace for recovery in Jorginho. So if anything happened like what we saw, he's left exposed, and of course it goes against the team. And it also came at a point in the game where it was still goalless. I didn't think Chelsea needed to push so many men, so offensive and push so many men in front of the ball to leave him behind. Obviously, he should have done better. But that is something that you can add more men and just make sure that these situations don't find you wanting in the future.
Namely, I don't know what you made of that, especially the starting lineup of Carrick. Was that a tactical masterclass from him, would you say? Or you thought... because, I mean, you were fuming before
There was nothing tactical about that. I think... Look, this is Manchester United. No matter how bad Manchester United play in today's game or in the game yesterday, when they're going to the next game, they have to believe that they've got what it takes to go and beat any opposition.
Right.
But if you look at the setup of Michael Carrick today, he sets up the team in such a way that, look,
you will not lose.
Go out there and don't get beat. That is why I look at the first 10 minutes and I said, but for David De Gea, the game plan would have been
off the window.
Because there was no... Look, if Chelsea had taken the lead, they would have won this.
That boy, Kalum.
If Chelsea had scored first, there was no way United was going to come back from this. And now you look at the manner in which the team just could not progress the ball. The midfield of Matic, Fred, and McTominay clearly couldn't progress the ball. They just couldn't bypass the high pressing game of Chelsea.
Mm-hmm. So defensive.
So defensive minded. Tomini will not pass the ball at once. He wants to take one touch, second, third, fourth before passing. You don't bypass the press like that. You need to have variations. And your ability to turn and see danger, turn away from danger, is what makes you a very good midfielder. Look, we've watched the likes of Xavi, we watched the likes of even Sergi Busquets during his heydays.
And coach, not to cut you, just a prime example in today's game we witnessed. In the midst of a press, Chelsea hit a strong ball to Loftus-Cheek.
Yeah.
One touch of the ball,
and
they are
Fred
taking
he's taking
just one touch.
and Matic away from the game. That is your ability to see the danger and move away from it. That is what makes you an intelligent player. And then, look, what actually blew my head off was the Sancho substitution. And then Makikari kept Marcus Rashford in the game. Look, today, everybody go and watch the game again. If that had been any other player on the goal United scored, the player would have passed the ball to Marcus Rashford, and he was clearly offside.
He was offside.
How could you, the two of you running,
Intelligent.
and you show his degree? Did he get it from the?
It was an honorary degree, doctorate.
There you go.
So he's a Dr. Rashford. He's not from school.
You understand?
Honorary.
Look, it clearly
And he's
showed.
said.
It showed because he went ahead of Sancho. So because look, I've always said
That's why he
JS
didn't
Saoura,
pass.
He's an intelligent, but he clearly saw that he was ahead of. So he now had to use him to dummy Mendy and then pass the ball in the back.
I mean, imagine how embarrassing it would have been if United had been caught offside.
Offside on that, and nobody would have blamed Sancho because the two of them, normally the one having the ball will pass to this one and then you just tap it in. Simple.
Yeah.
But he went that. So that, in my view, was very, very problematic. Look, I have said on this show that Chelsea will not win the league if Romelu Lukaku is not an integral part. I still stand by it. You might have done so well without him.
Yeah.
But I sincerely believe that he's the indicator in that titration. Whatever reaction Chelsea seeks to titrate, without Romelu Lukaku, there'll be no end point to that titration. So yes, you've won games without him, but you will not win the league without him. Take it from me.
Yeah, you know, listen. I get what you're saying, but there's also that school of thought that thinks that Chelsea are actually much more fluid without Romelu Lukaku. So you do have a point about Lukaku being needed in certain games, and Daniel mentioned it, and we all agree that, especially today's game,
I'm saying that
was a profile of
Burnley.
Look, an example was
Chelsea
Burnley.
can win every game. This is a fact.
So
even if they have Lukaku,
But with him,
but you see,
there's a
even
good chance of
when they had him, they weren't winning it.
No,
they had him. They met Juventus and got beat. Without him, they met Juventus, destroyed them. So I'm saying that there is that there are profile games that will just suit Lukaku's style.
I'm looking at.
But that is probably going to be a fraction of matches this season. Because so far this season,
and
the only game they haven't won.
Those fractions are the ones that do not make you win the league.
Yes, but the other ones are actually much more important.
So you see, I'm not saying the other ones without him are not important. I'm talking about lifting the trophy. And I'm saying without him.
Yeah, they need him. I mean, you can't spend 90-something million on a player and don't need him.
So now, a typical example was what we saw today.
Yeah.
If he had started that game,
Probably,
Chelsea win all day.
Namely, let me take a short break again here on Scorecard. Your message is welcome. Use the hashtag Scorecard on Twitter. Also, the number +233 5505 85832. When we come back, I'll take you around Europe, to Italy, to Spain, to Germany, and of course, we'll do some boxing as well. This is Scorecard. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Scorecard on Citi TV. Last leg of the show now. Take a couple of messages on WhatsApp. This one says, congrats to Hasselhoff for winning today. I wish them all the best in the return leg. Eric Odum in Gomwa Portsing sent that message. This one says, hello, Mr. Host. Thank God you are back. Last week, Coach made Daniel laugh and still reminded him that he was the host, so he can't laugh like that.
last week, Coach hit me.
I saw Sagidi from Zoom says, so Chelsea couldn't score against Carrick's Man United. Fred nearly killed me with that chance. Interesting. Kafui in Matayoko says, so United are jubilating over a draw against Chelsea. Cheer, celebrating mediocrity. This United team has no future. Interesting. Nijam from Castland says, good evening, Fentio. Chelsea hasn't beaten Man U in their last 8 meetings in the Premier League. And I'm glad Sancho scored his first Premier League goal against Chelsea. Coach Nimbley is looking good in his yellow outfit. Good evening, guys. I think Hearts will work hard for the return leg. Sam Francis from Ahanta United sent that message. All right, guys, let me show you highlights from elsewhere, beginning in Italy. In Italy, we have 3 games to show you. Venezia hosted Inter Milan. Inter Milan won that match by 2-0. Juventus were shocked by Atalanta. Atalanta beat them in Turin by 1-0. And then AC Milan, they lost also at home. Who chasing title? Chasing the title. They lost at home to Sassuolo by 3-1. Take a look at all 3 matches. All right. Hey, AC Milan, Romagnoli, Capito, El Capitano. So they lost. Let me show you the full results from the La Liga. Sorry, Serie A. Napoli at halftime were leading Lazio by 3-0. I'm not sure what the full-time score is. My producer will tell me. But see the rest of the results there. Sampdoria also winning 3-1 against Verona. Empoli 2-1 against Fiorentina. And then the rest of the results, you see them there. Bologna also getting a 1-0 win away from home. Roma, Tammy Abraham scored in their 1-0 win against
Torino every 10 games.
There, right. All right, let's move it on. So that's the Serie A as far as that's concerned. What's the score between Napoli and Lazio, the full-time score? I'm waiting for that particular answer, but I'll get it for you. But let's move to Germany now. Bayern Munich, they were in action against Arminia Bielefeld. They won that game by 1-0. Leroy Sané scored the winner. And Dortmund beat Wolfsburg 3-1. And guess what? Erling Braut Haaland, he scored his 50th goal in the Bundesliga in 50 matches. 50 in 50. Unbelievable. So take a look at the 2 games from the Bundesliga. All right. Wow, Erling Haaland. This boy. 50 matches, 50 goals in the Bundesliga. How do you even do that? It's unbelievable. Yeah, the 4 results from the Bundesliga this weekend. See how everybody else did. Leverkusen won away at Leipzig. That's a bit of a surprising scoreline because Leipzig look really good. Greta Hoffenheim, it's a goal fest. 9 goals in a single game in the Bundesliga. Namely, this is very common in the Bundesliga. No?
Exactly.
Very interesting. And look at Cologne too. 4-1 against Mönchengladbach. 3-1 for Dortmund. 2-1 Stuttgart. It's very high scoring matches all around.
Bayern Munich sport all the slips.
I know. They were supposed to score more. All right, let me show you one game from the La Liga. It was Barcelona at Villarreal. Barca won 3-1. They left it very, very late indeed in that particular game. There you had it. Barcelona in the... Is that blue? Yeah. That's a blue jersey, right? Namely. And the
Yes,
other
of
one is
course.
yellow for sure.
This is yellow.
Is that blue?
So there you have it. Barcelona scored first, of course, De Jong. That's been ruled out for offside.
I think the goal stood.
Yeah, in the end, the goal stood. Yeah, definitely a goal. Anyway, so there's that. And after VAR review, the goal stood. Then Sevilla got themselves back in the game. And then before Barcelona went on to score 2 late goals.
Chukwueze.
Yeah.
Chukwueze.
Look at that. Chikwueze from Nigeria. He made it 1-1. That's a wonderful finish from him indeed, the Nigerian.
Look at Piqué.
Look at Piqué. Caught ball watching.
He's sleeping on the job, man.
Yeah, as well. And then there you go. Memphis, no doubt. I mean, look at the composure. Oh, goodness
Suya.
me. Goodness me.
Suya.
So good. So good. Memphis. That was very late on. And then Coutinho, of course, added a penalty.
Clean Sulia. Clean.
Yes. And then a penalty to make it 3-1 for them. All right. That's the penalty. Coutinho. When you do all this and the goalkeeper doesn't move, it's funny.
Now you are hot. You don't know where to put it.
Real Madrid also beat Sevilla by 2-1. They had to come from behind to win that particular game. So Madrid still top of the La Liga table. Let me show you the rest of the results from the La Liga very, very quickly. There you go. So that's an indicator. Real Madrid came against Sevilla and they're 2-1 in favor of Real Madrid. They went behind. Then Benzema scored and Vinicius Jr. scored to give them all the 3 points there. All right. Before we go, let's show you some boxing. This is interesting. Just Teofimo Lopez and Kambosos Jr., George Kambosos, they were fighting. Teofimo, he had all the titles. The man they just punched, he had all the titles in the lightweight division. Came up against this guy, Kambosos Jr., who had no chance at all. And then, but what a battle it was in the end. It was a split decision. It wasn't unanimous at all. It was such a brawl. Teofimo, the defending champion, was all over the place. Look at that. Bang! Kambosos, in my opinion, he deserved to win. After the bout, Teofimo Lopez went on and on. He had a swollen face, namely, and he was telling the cameras that he deserved that he won the fight.
No, but he said,
He
didn't fight like a champion. He didn't respect the opponent.
Yeah.
He felt he's somebody he could easily step in there and then deal with. But if you are the one holding the belt, you need to make yourself very That's why, look, Floyd Mayweather will go
Always
straight.
be the goat.
He will not go and stand and be doing this.
So Kambosos now has the lightweight titles. Our very own Richard Comey is fighting against Lomachenko on December 11th. If he wins that, then maybe they get a shot at the title again. So very interesting times in the lightweight division. But that's our show for tonight. My name is Fentio Tahir Fentio. Thank you very much for tuning in from wherever you did. It's been another lovely show. Daniel Cranton, Coach Clifford, and my guest producer, Ebo Essa. Until next time, you take care of yourself and bye-bye.